no man's knowledge can go beyond his experience. The only fence against the world is a thorough knowledge of it. Education begins the gentleman, but reading, good company, and reflection must finish him. The improvement of understanding is for two ends. First, our own increase of knowledge. Secondly, to enable us to deliver that knowledge to others. All mankind, being all equal and independent, no one ought to harm another in his life, health, liberty, or possessions. Government has no other end but the preservation of property. The end of law is not to abolish or restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom. Parents wonder why the streams are bitter when they themselves have poisoned the fountain. The discipline of desire is the background of character. The only defense against the world is a thorough knowledge of it. New opinions are always suspected and usually opposed without any other reason but because they are not already common. It is of great use to the sailor to know the length of his line, though he cannot with it fathom all the depths of the ocean. The visible mark of extraordinary wisdom and power appears so plainly in all the works of creation. What worries you, masters? You. To love truth for truth's sake is the principal part of human perfection in this world. I have always thought the actions of men the best interpreters of their thoughts. The only way to have a friend is to be one. Our incomes are like our shoes. If too small, they gall and pinch us, but if too large, they cause us to stumble and to trip. The only advantage of power is that you can do more good. It is easier for a tutor to command than to teach. Virtue is harder to be got than knowledge of the world, and more hazardous to keep. The reason why men enter into society is the preservation of their property. The actions of men are the best interpreters of their thoughts. The only true security in life comes from knowing that every single day you are improving yourself in some way. A sound mind in a sound body is a short but full description of a happy state in this world. Every man has a property in his own person. This nobody has a right to but himself. The dread of evil is a much more forcible principle of human actions than the prospect of good. Education is the best provision for old age. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Wherever law ends, tyranny begins. He that would be superior to external influences must first become superior to his own passions. It is one thing to show a man that he is in an error and another to put him in possession of truth. All wealth is the product of labor. There cannot be greater rudeness than to interrupt another in the current of his discourse. We are like chameleons. We take our hue and the color of our moral character from those who are around us. All men are liable to error, and most men are, in many points, by passion or interest, under temptation to it. Fortitude is the guard and support of the other virtues. I have always thought the actions of men the best interpreters of their thoughts. The dread of evil is a much more forcible principle of human actions than the prospect of good. Where there is no property, there is no injustice. Men being, as has been said, by nature all free, equal and independent, no one can be put out of this estate and subjected to the political power of another without his own consent. A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds. We should have a great fewer disputes in the world if words were taken for what they are, the signs of our ideas only, and not for things themselves.